Welcome to How We Heard It, the podcast about music, pop culture, movies, and more, with your hosts, Wayne Bledsoe and Chuck Campbell.
Hola, this is Chuck Campbell with
Wayne Bledsoe.
All right.
I'm John Baker.
Hey, John. So I'm trying not to blow out the mic with my extensive energy today. We are talking about songs we want played at our funerals. This was Wayne's idea, and honestly, I hate funerals and death and cemeteries and hospitals, and I have spent almost no time thinking about my own funeral or even having a funeral, let alone songs that I want played at my funeral. So this was an interesting process for me, and I don't have a definitive answer, but I can walk through where my little mind went. But why don't you tell us what you're thinking, Wayne?
Well, I think a lot of people think about that. I mean, unfortunately, I've had to plan a lot of funerals and organize a lot of music. But it makes you think about what you'd want at your own funeral. And, I have a plan for mine to get some laughs. I mean, not with the songs, but with, stuff that I want people to say. Okay. I think you have to have some levity.
I think if you've lived your life well, there should be some happy moments.
Yeah.
Some celebration when you've ended your life. Not ended your life. When your life has ended.
I'm not planning on that, John.
I'm saying when your life has ended. I'm sorry.
Yes.
No, but yeah, I think you choose songs to make people think about, the good times and the times that they spent with you and what you felt about life overall. Okay. And, I've had to, because, it's very difficult when you're just totally in the dark as to what to put in somebody's funeral.
Right.
And, I've been in that situation before. My late wife, one time I said, well, what's your favorite song? And she came up and she said, probably Lola. And you don't play Lola at a funeral.
No, probably not.
And, of course, there's enough perversity in me that I have songs. I mean, I have to say, one song that I would like played at my funeral is another Kinks song, Till the End of the Day.
Okay.
Which is a song that's unlike, things like Waterloo Sunset or Days, which are things that you'd think about. It's a song about having a happy life and being full of it, and just like going out and, you
living
and me
a
are
full
free.
life till the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you're certainly full of it. So.
Thank you, Chuck. You've said that before. But, you and me are free. We do as we please from morning till the end of the day. And to me, that's the goal. Okay. That should be the goal of life, is to have a good time.
Well, I have a question. I mean, you guys are both, I'm sure you've been to more funerals with unconventional music, I guess, than I have. I've missed what funerals I could, and the ones I've gone to, most of them didn't have music at all.
Really?
Yeah. And then the ones that did have music, if they were religious, it was usually something like Amazing Grace or Shall We Gather at the River, or something like that. And then I've been to my share of military funerals, like my father, my brother-in-law, and you get taps. But as far as like people just playing their favorite songs, that's something I've only been to a few funerals like that. Yeah.
Well, you went to my son Andrew's funeral.
Yes, I did.
And that was people that, we had Donald Brown playing one of Andrew's songs.
Right.
And Donald had been one of his teachers. And then I had Kevin Abernathy play a song called Love Alone, which, meant a lot to me, thinking about, if the way I was interpreting it is if it's love's all it took to keep you alive, you'd still be here.
Right.
And then his band played a song that they'd been working on. I mean, they'd been broken up, but they were still, making music together and recording music together. So, that was easy.
This is like is this the receiving ceremony before the funeral, or is this at the cemetery? Or
well, no, that was all at the Bijou.
If there's a cemetery.
Yeah, that was all at the Bijou. And then I had a video, which
so that's like a celebration of life type thing? Or?
Yeah. Okay. That's all our funerals have been for the most part.
Right.
That was at the Bijou Theater. My son Rylan died. We had it in my daughter's backyard because it was in the middle of COVID.
Right.
And in that case, his best friend and bandmate learned a guitar piece that he had written, even though he was the drummer in that band.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bill Mize played "The Water Is Wide," and Bill had taught him some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ben Savage, who's in Whitechapel, who's basically family,
Right.
but he
Right,
played
yeah.
a piece that he had come up with.
Right.
So, I mean, it was all unconventional. I
So,
mean,
so you've got live musicians then, and I mean, I went to one where someone went up with a tape player and played a song,
Yeah.
which was, that was, I guess, one way to do it. What about you, John? I mean, the funerals you've been to, because you all know so many more musicians than
Right.
I do personally and all that, so it would make
Just
more
trying
sense.
to think. I haven't been to all that many funerals of contemporaries. It's all just been older people, and
Right,
they're normally just
right.
church funerals.
Right.
I have had a few. Well, I had a friend of mine in high school. After our senior year, he drowned in the mountains, but his family went to the same church mine did, and it was in church.
Right.
So I guess I just thought about this as music that I think expresses things about me or about my friends that I would want them to remember. And
yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's another question is like who decides? I mean, are these like predetermined by the deceased what songs are going to be played, or is it a loved one picking songs that they think they associate with the deceased? Or
My girlfriend has a funeral playlist on Spotify.
that's pretty much what I made was a funeral playlist. I'll just
Yeah.
give this to Leslie.
Yeah. But you hadn't thought about this at all?
No, I mean, the only time I've ever thought about songs I'd want played at my funeral were like if I was reviewing or something and I thought, oh, that's a moving song, that'd be good at my funeral, and then boom, the next day I wouldn't remember it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
Interesting.
really and for my family and people I know, it's like funerals are a pretty low key
Right.
thing, and there's not a lot of fuss or circumstance, and some people, don't want any funeral at all. you
Yeah,
know.
well, and that's more and more common. I mean, and I think as people are less religious, and I mean, I'm agnostic / atheist, but I want to, I mean, I think celebration of life is kind of a cheesy term, but I'd like, for everybody to get
I'm just
together.
trying to figure out because there are different types of ceremonies for death, and like the receiving the night before, and then the funeral the next day, and that kind of. But everything's different, and I just wondered what your all's experience, because you do seem to. I know part of it's just that I've not been to too many funerals with just songs that weren't religious or military.
Well, I mean, most funerals I've been to has been really depressing, religious funerals, and our friend Betsy. I saw her yesterday at an event, and I was telling her what the podcast subject was going to be, and she said, "Well, hers were all hymns." And It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, I hate hymns.
That was kind of punny. Hers were all
Hers
hymns.
were all hymns.
Hymns were all hymns. Actually, let's be politically correct. They were all theirs.
They're theirs.
Yeah, but no.
Well, yeah, I guess I think if it were up to me and I died, I would want my friends to gather and have a couple of beers and listen to some music and tell good stories
Yeah. Right.
about our times together.
Yeah.
And it'd be a celebration. So that's kind of,
Well, do you have an intended audience for the songs you pick? Because everyone who knows you knows a different version of you,
Right. No, that's-
And I think that a lot of times, like if, for example, my mom were to pick a song for me, I'm sure no one else of the 4 or 5 people at my funeral, none of them would associate that song with me. So it's like, how do you know you're going to find something that, are you looking for something that pretty much everyone will be able to associate with you or get, or is it just, entertaining music? Is it specifically, or does it just depend case by case?
Well, I mean, one song that I would definitely want at my funeral is Stardust.
Okay.
Because I always tell people that's my favorite song just because it's a little bit arbitrary, but that one is like, come up, I probably got between 25 and 50 different versions of Stardust.
Okay.
I mean, it's a classic song.
Yeah.
But I've sang that to each one of my kids, and I sing it to
Okay.
my grandson, Walter.
Okay.
And, it's an easy, cool song. It's like one long verse.
Right.
And if that's played,
It has personal meaning, and it's also a broadly recognizable, wonderful song.
yeah, my daughter and my grandson at least.
Right. They remember growing
Right.
up here.
We're the only 2 people left, that
Right.
I've sang that to.
Right.
But they would associate that with, me singing to them before they go to bed, before they go to sleep.
Okay.
So that's pretty, you kind of have to have that.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's how they would
Yeah,
remember.
I mean, I wonder. I mean, like if you just pick really obscure songs that no one recognizes at all, and that may mean something to you, but
you're not there. So.
you're not there, and no one else gets it. It's like I don't know. How much music do you normally when you see? I mean, I've seen like one song played, and then that was it. But when you've got bands and stuff, it sounds like a real. It sounds like a special event for sure.
Yeah.
Than just.
Well, when I was in high school, one of my classmates died in a car wreck, and her mom was the art teacher, and she had. I mean, this is kind of a similar thing. She had the song "Little Children" by I think it's Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas. I think that it was their song that she had played at the service just because her daughter had really loved that song when she was little. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was one that she chose because it reminded her of her daughter being, young and
Right.
Happy and loving life.
Okay.
So I think, to me, it's like even with the deaths of my children, while it's very solemn and everything, I think you want to remember life and what they did, and that's, and if somebody had pulled out a song that I didn't know and played it, I'd be happy about it.
Okay.
I like
even if there's a guitar solo.
Oh, yeah, wait, that's my especially the guitar solo.
That'd
be my favorite part.
But we didn't have the services in church or the services, whatever the events in churches. Mm-hmm. And didn't have, and I'm sure when my son Andrew died and we had it at the Bijou, there were people there going, "Oh my gosh, they're all going to hell."
like that's a real place. You mean we're not there now?
Yeah, well. So yeah. Anyway, I just think you need something. What is there not some song that you think?
I'll tell you the process I went through.
Okay.
And in the beginning, it was ridiculous. And I can tell you how one led to another. I can tell you just like the first songs that came to mind.
Okay.
And where I detoured to. So you'll see how far afield I was from having any idea on what I was doing. But the first song I thought of was John Lennon's Imagine.
Right.
Yeah. It's a beautiful song. Mm-hmm. It's a powerful song. It's very... it's low key in a way, but it's important.
Wistful.
It's wistful, and it also it's by John Lennon, and I've always maintained, without ever changing my mind, that the Beatles were the best band in rock history. That's always been my feeling.
Yeah.
So but I thought about it, and I thought, I'm not really that big of a Beatles fan. I believe they were one of the best bands, but they were history. They weren't part of my consciousness like new songs.
Right.
And I thought, there's so many millions of fans of the Beatles and John Lennon, who are far more dedicated. They know all their songs, they know all their albums, which I don't. Mm-hmm. And I thought I would almost feel like an imposter if Imagine was played at my funeral, because I feel like I wasn't as dedicated as other people would be. You know what I mean?
Strange, Chuck.
Well, it just sounds like, you want some individuality, and I thought, well, this is a great song that everyone agrees is a great song, even though, and I love hearing it, but I don't listen to it. I don't seek it out all the time.
But it has a philosophy to it, which
it does. It has a wonderful philosophy, but it didn't feel personal.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I thought there's a Cyndi Lauper song. I thought, what's something more personal to me? And there was a later Cyndi Lauper song that was really sober from a movie called Unhook the Stars. Right. And I don't know if you remember it, but it's very, she's got this weathered voice, and it's singing about letting go. Unhooking the stars is the last thing she has to do. Unhook the stars like from her trees or whatever.
Right.
The last thing she does before she moves on. And I thought, well, that's not going to be very my story's going to change here in a second, but I thought, that's going to be kind of grim, and people aren't going to know it, even though it's a beautiful song. Thought, what if I did Cyndi Lauper's dance remix of She Bop? with the insane giggling and that nasty na 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 na. And I just laughed, and I thought that would really probably symbolize me more to other people than these other songs I'm coming.
You know, Chuck, I hate to say this, but, you know, this is the first time I thought, you know, I want to die, but I want this person to die before me so I can be at their funeral.
That's good. Yeah. Well. Then I thought, I don't know if female masturbation is the right theme for my funeral. So I thought, what's something else that could play at my funeral that would kind of be subversive, but about me and kind of over the top. And I thought, Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle. And I was being serious. I thought, I was just imagining the 4 or 5 people at my funeral.
The 4 or 5, that's all you're going to have?
Yeah. Hearing Slash's refrain come out, you know. And it's like, this is Chuck's song? Because a lot of people keep forgetting that I'm not a fan of Guns N' Roses, but I'm definitely a fan of that song. And you got yowling Axl Rose and all that stuff. And I love, you know, his lyrics are like, welcome to the jungle, it gets worse here every day, you know, if you have a casket sitting there. And then at the end, you know, he goes, you're gonna die, you know, and that's how the song ends. I thought that would be kind of funny, and people who know me well enough know that. And I thought, but, you know, maybe that's too dark. So then I thought of Olivia Newton-John, ELO's Xanadu.
Okay, there we go.
It's a celebration song. It's very uplifting. I've always said that Olivia Newton-John was like a white light, you know?
Yeah.
And the song is almost like orgasmically joyful from the very beginning. And she's singing about, you know, creating a paradise and enjoying your paradise.
Right.
And in the movie and in the video, at the end, you know, she's a muse, so she's not like a human. And in the end, that she just lights up and flies off into the heavens. And I thought, that's you know, that's a great song, but maybe that's too over the top too. I don't know. And I thought of everything from Patrick Hernandez, the dance banger "Born to Be Alive," you know, the "Born to Be Alive." Anyway. And I thought, well, that's the opposite message, you know. And I thought of even Book of Love, this song Witchcraft, which is like real enchanting. And all the members of the group are just like, they're just naming off names of witches. And I thought, what if people at my funeral thought they were getting a curse put on them, you know?
I thought about this too. I would kind of like to have, you know, things in foreign languages where people were going
backward masking.
Yeah.
What am I kind of singing along with here?
So I did think of frivolous songs and dumb songs and songs that all those songs are very much me, but
You're right.
I eventually came up with more dignified songs, and I can go into those later. But my head was really like just like, oh, that won't work, and so yeah, I really this is kind of a new experience for me. That's why I don't have a definitive song yet.
I'd just like to see a video of you deciding, you know, and talking to yourself.
Well, it was like I was real proud of myself, just thinking, imagine what a wonderful song. It's a beautiful song, and it's the best band in history and all that. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if people think, look at Chuck being a pretender, like he's, you know, this big Beatles guy.
You are a big Beatles guy. You're a big Beatles fan.
But, you know, I don't know all their songs,
Doesn't matter.
all their albums, and I never had their pictures on my wall or anything like that. You know, they were. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking for advice or whatever because I'm doing a very poor job.
Well, John,
the first thing that popped into my brain, it was mainly because my wife's father has always said that he wanted a whiter shade of pale played at his funeral.
There we go.
And so I wrote that down, but to me that just seems so obvious. And
yeah.
I mean, I love that.
With Imagine, the same thing. I thought, I'll probably go.
And I'm not the hugest Procol Harum fan in the world, so I kind of went back and just started thinking, and the first thing that came to my mind was All You Need Is Love.
Yeah.
It was in 1967, the Beatles had just released Sgt. Pepper and revolutionized the whole world of pop music. Mm-hmm. And this was the first time there was a live broadcast via satellite to over 40 nations around the world.
Right.
And John Lennon purposely wrote this song that was very simple and that would translate into different languages. And it's All You Need Is Love. Love is all you need. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful song. Mm-hmm. And so I like that one. And I agree with that one. And then I kind of went into just... Some of the songs have, because of the lyrics, the meaning of the lyrics has something for me, but a lot of them are just how they make me feel.
Yeah.
Not even really the words.
Right.
So the next one I came up with was "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And I just love the way it builds really slowly,
Yeah.
and then it builds and it turns into this nice big warm elegiac kind of song, and I really love that song.
Well, and so to some extent, I mean, this is the last public statement you are making to
Exactly. So what's your parting song? What's your parting message to people?
people. Yeah, and that's
That's what got in my head too.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, just some anonymous song they didn't know I liked, or
yeah. Well, it's funny because when you said the thing about the witches, I'd like Wichita Tao, which is a Navajo peyote song, which is actually when they put some English lyrics to it, but it's like water spirit feeling swirling around my head makes me feel glad that I'm not dead.
Right.
But what's cool about it is one of the versions I've got of that song. It has like little bells and shakers and stuff. And there's I think it's Tibetan. There's one of the cultures where when somebody dies, they like have like shakers and things, to help their spirit go on. And it would be cool to have like little bells and things scattered around the room where people could shake it, while that was going on. And
Well, what if I die
Participate.
first and I steal your idea? It's now my funeral song.
I don't care. I'll be dead. It's
Okay.
like,
No, if I die first,
Well,
you're
I
to
mean,
my funeral.
but-
I'm taking your
well, I'll do it anyway.
taking your playlist.
I'm going to give everybody handshake buzzers.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be fun to have, just pass out kazoos and then
Yeah.
Flowers that squirt water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a Kink song too.
Which one?
Young and Innocent Days.
Oh, that's a great song.
It's just a beautiful song. Ray Davis has such a reputation for being kind of really ironic and cynical and class conscious, but when he decides he wants to be earnest, he just hits it out of the park.
Yeah.
And that one's one of them, and it's just a beautiful song, and I love it, and it reminds me of when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's a super sweet song. Well, what did you finally come up with, Chuck?
Well, I came up with more appropriate songs, but I've got a decent little list here I can go through if you want. The Alexi Murdoch Waits from I was just talking about the movie Away We Go last week, and that was the last song that played. And he's
Right.
a British singer-songwriter, and it's a very elegant, peaceful type song. He's got a gorgeous voice and all that. And it's kind of long, so I thought, I don't know if people want to hear a long song, So
Right.
I thought of Lana
Didn't
Del
he sing?
Rey.
Aren't there a bunch of his songs in that soundtrack?
Yeah. I think
He sounds like Nick.
Him.
He sounds like Nick Drake,
Okay.
who's a British songwriter.
Okay.
Real soft, kind of
Yeah,
textured voice,
yeah. And just
picked acoustic guitar.
Yeah, just so. I mean, that song particularly and part of it's because of the visual association with what's going on in the film at the end of the movie, but. It just really dug into my soul.
Right.
And I thought that's nice, and people who even don't know it can appreciate it. And I thought, well, if it's someone I like, I love Lana Del Rey, and I thought, well, I talked about Born to Die, and that might be a little too acidic or whatever,
Yeah.
but the song Ride is more about just being free and celebrating life, and I thought, well, a lot of people don't like her, and, I don't know about forcing someone,
It's your funeral.
I know,
you can force
I know,
them to do
but
whatever.
It's my funeral, but I'm not in the audience. I mean, I'm in the audience, but I'm not hearing anything. So, and I thought of Massive Attack featuring Tracy Thorn. No, well, see,
God.
no, Massive Attack. It's one of their most subtle songs.
Oh, okay.
And Tracy Thorn from Everything But the Girl is singing, and it's a beautiful song, and it's about being, there, being protection. It had the great line, I can't change the way you feel, but I can put my arms around you, And I thought, well, I can't put my arms around anybody now, so I don't.
Somebody else have to do the putting the
Yeah,
arms
someone
around.
else will have to do that. But it's kind of like you're going to be there, hell or high water, to protect someone, and maybe that's the wrong message. Corb Lund, the song September, I think that's a beautiful song. It's about letting someone go. He yodels in it, and it's actually a beautiful song about wishing someone could stay with him, and he knows and accepts that they can't.
Right.
So Hannah Georgas, I've talked about her before. She has a song about death called "The Waiting Game," and it's just very kind of eerie, and she's got a beautiful voice. She's a Canadian singer. but it's got kind of an uncertain, kind of sad tinge, and she's sort of like going through a bad time. So again, maybe not right funeral song, but they're getting better. They're getting closer. And Jane Seabury, one, I thought of The Life is a Red Wagon, which is just such an uplifting. It's one of the most uplifting songs. But again, it's more what you're doing with someone who's alive. And, I don't know what you can do, with someone who's, when you're dead, it's kind of to make these, I'll always be there for you, and now bury me and I'm gone. It's like, I don't know about that message. And then so I thought, of course, Sail Across the Water, another Jane Seabury song, and how that one is very effective, but it's long and it's kind of complicated.
Right.
And even though the overriding message is just ultimately beautiful, it takes some work to get there, and there's some kind of struggles in it. I thought of any number of songs from Billie Eilish, but honestly, she feels too recent and not baked enough. It's like she's only been around a few years, and it's like some old man wanting a Billie Eilish song.
That wouldn't bother me at all.
I know, but she certainly has done a great deal of. So if I live long enough, maybe I'll revisit her catalog. And now I'm getting to ones that I think I really would like. Do you want to veer to somebody else? So I don't want to just dominate this conversation.
Well, go to John was keeping.
I got 7 or 8 more. I won't go through all of them right now, but another one that seems kind of obvious to me, and it's one of my favorite songs, and I always say that it's Leslie and I's song. That's my wife. Is God Only Knows by the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
With an honorable mention going to Caroline No.
Yeah.
That whole record.
Yeah.
I remember when I was first discovering Pet Sounds was when I was playing in a band in Memphis, and so many times I would be driving home at 2 o'clock in the morning with my ears ringing, and that just feels so good on your ears because it's nice and soft, and those vocal harmonies it's soothing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a comfort food album.
And another one, and I guess I was just kind of going for songs just the way the music made me feel.
Yeah.
And I thought of Lonesome Tears by Beck from Sea Change, which was the album that he recorded after he'd broken up with a girl that he'd been with for like 10 years. And the songs are real mellow and strummy on acoustic guitar, but this one has all kinds of strings on it and orchestration, and it just feels good. And that's another one of those albums that I would listen to on the way home from a gig with my ears ringing. I'd put that on. It was just like pouring syrup over the rough spots and just smoothing everything out.
Right.
And there's a Robin Hitchcock and the Egyptians from the Element of Light album, which came out in 1986. And there's a song on there called Airscape. And it's got this really cool, the chord progression is like 3 chords that make perfect sense, but it's got this backwards, look out, Chuck. It's got a backwards guitar. It's not a solo, but it's just a bit, but it's backwards. So the attack
the riff I don't mind. It's the solo bit.
Yeah. I mean, it is the only thing sounding besides the rhythm track, so I guess it's a solo, but it's not doodly doodly doodly. It's just like a
noodling around,
a scale of notes, but it's backwards. So it's like the attack on the notes is backwards. And that whole album is just beautiful. It's, Element of Light is the name of that album from 1986. And one more, kind of from that same, The Way It Makes Me Feel, is a song by the Feelies from The Good Earth from 1986. And the song is Slipping Into Something, and it has this insistent little guitar figure that it plays like 4 times, and then they add a layer to it, and it plays 4 times, and they add another harmony layer, and it just builds and builds and builds and gets into this really nice strummy. That album was produced by Peter Buck of R.E.M., and it sounds really good. It's very strummy and acoustic guitar oriented, and I just love that song.
Cool.
Well, on the subject of songs that you wouldn't actually have played, probably, but I would really like, if you had an orchestra playing it, Strictly Gentile by Frank Zappa, the instrumental version, not the vocal version.
Okay.
Because I think in 7 minutes, it musically sums up everything about life. You hear just beauty, you hear humor, you hear pure stupidity. It's like all this rendered with an orchestra.
Right, and an instrumental.
And it's just, to me, it's weirdly emotional. There's a point in it where it's like, man, I get nearly teary because it's so pretty.
Wow.
The weirdly emotional songs are what really got me at the end.
Yeah.
So.
Have you ever seen? So Frank Zappa hand wrote all of his scores for every instrument.
Oh, I didn't
He
realize
hand
that.
wrote them all, and he was a graphic artist before he really became a musician. And man, his scores are just beautiful.
Huh.
The way they're written, his handwriting is
Oh,
great.
wow.
The notes, everything. Go online and just look up Frank Zappa's handwritten music. It's,
Oh, cool.
It's art unto itself.
But that's a song I think everybody, it's a piece of music I think everybody should hear. Not everybody may get it, but it's like, yeah, you put all this, you listen to this in 7 minutes and you hear what life is.
I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Well, a song that I liked from long ago, it was, of course, Peggy Lee's, Is That All There Is, right? But, again, that seems like pre-Chuck, so I don't know. I want something that's part of my current, life experience. And there's a group called the Greeting Committee, and they're from Kansas, I believe. And their singer, Addie Sartino, has just a gorgeous voice. And they do this modern rock song called Is This It? Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing, and she does this cooing and everything, but it's got like sax in it and everything. It's got humor in it,
right?
And she's talking about, her friends are medicating themselves for things that don't exist and all that. But she just keeps coming back to, is this it? Is this it? And the video, of course, that's a factor for me, and it plays out. And I think I've mentioned this song before in terms of the video, reminded me of feelings of dreams I have where I feel like I'm dying, and it makes me feel like what death is. So there's some mental connection I have to this song, and it's a beautiful song, and it's not too heavy or anything like that. Her voice is exquisite, but the music is kind of peppy even, in a way. And then I think this one should have been on the joke thing, but maybe not. But that I've mentioned before that Exotica is like one of my favorite personal indulgences, one of my guilty pleasures that I'm not guilty about. So I thought maybe Martin Denny's Swamp Fire, and it's like really percussive, and it's very tropical, and everybody knows I love the tropics, I love the beach, and I love palm trees and animals and all that. And so there are the animal noises, and there's all this percussion. There's no lyrics or anything like that, but just a peppy kind of upbeat song that you might have a cocktail to or something like that. That could be kind of a parting salute from Chuck, before he goes off to the volcano island or whatever that was.
I would certainly think that's appropriate, knowing you. I mean, that would, and that's part of it, is when you're there for somebody and to remember somebody, you want to remember the things that were special about them and the things they liked.
Right.
Yeah.
And definitely, Exotica track with
that's going to be
Chuck.
That's Chuck. Yeah, and enough people know that. Enough people know that. That from my little tiki things on my desk and all that. I'm not totally obsessed with it, but it's an escape for me.
Yeah,
and it'd be nice to just kind of there.
You've just executed the ultimate escape.
Yeah, and now I've totally escaped and celebrated. Well, it's one more kind of in line with that. Is Topaz by the B-52s. To me, that is just, and that's because the harmonies between Kate and Cindy, and they're always wonderful harmonies, but on that song in particular, the way they just kind of weave and undulate and all that, I am totally transported whenever I hear that. And the song itself is about all the unknown places in the world, and the universe is expanding, and it's such a positive and upbeat song, and it's just about so many things we don't know, like life after death,
Yeah, and was created while they were recuperating from Ricky Wilson's death.
Right, they were recuperating from the death of their member, Cindy's brother.
Yeah.
So, that one, I thought, I like that one, and I think other people will like it, even if they've never heard it. Mm-hmm. And it does have that kind of freedom and that sort of ponderous, I like nature, and I'm crazy about critters and stuff like that, and I think it would take me somewhere. It would be a good parting message, I think, a positive parting message. Yeah. I have one more, but if y'all want any more,
let's go.
Yeah, go ahead with it, and then we'll fill them in.
So it's Kate Bush, but it's from 25, so it's a more recent Kate Bush song. It's
Right.
not from her old catalog, and it's a song called Nocturne. And this song, I have a playlist. I still have an old iPod that I have a playlist of songs to listen to when I'm walking on the beach by myself.
Uh-huh.
And this song is always a highlight. It's a long song, and she's hypnotic. She's just so hypnotic in it. And she's talking about escaping the city and going to the beach at night, in the middle of the night, and no one's around. And she strips naked, and she wades into the water. And she keeps going deeper and deeper into the water. And she's looking at the horizon where, the ocean meets the sky, and the stars are in the sky. And they're, she said they're caught in her hair, and all that. And then she dives down, and she dives down deeper and deeper, and the sun comes up, and like the horizon blurs as to what is the sea and what is the ocean, and she's just kind of becoming one. It's kind of, I don't know that it's one about taking your own life, but it's kind of like rejoining something else, and it's just this natural sort of, I don't know how to explain it beyond that, but the lyrics are hypnotic.
Well, thematically, it sounds like Pete Townshend's song, The Sea Refuses No River, to me. I put that on a tape for, back in the tape days, for one of our coworkers whose son had died.
Right, okay.
And she asked me to put together some, well, actually it was before he died, but put together some songs that were, kind of inspirational. And that was like, I found that a song that was very inspirational. I wouldn't want it at my funeral, but it's the same thing.
I mean, this song to me sounds like a spiritual song, but it's like totally non-denominational or non-particular religion, but just a kind of, ultimately we're all going to be part of this universe in some way, and just the blurring of where you can't tell the ocean from the sky, and she's talking about a sky of honey, a sea of honey. And that's one I can listen to. It's been 20 years, and I can listen to it and just go somewhere else every time I hear it.
Yeah. Well, I have the song "Safe in My Garden," which is a little bit. I mean, it's the Mamas and the Papas, but it's like it is probably my very favorite, just one song recording. I mean, the song itself is not my favorite, but the recording of it is, just because the harmonies are so beautiful, and it's about being happy. I mean, on your own. Not that I don't appreciate everybody around me, but you have to, to be happy, you have to be happy alone too.
Right.
And it has a little sub-thread going through it with the harmonies of, everything that's going on that sounds very relevant today about, just trying to keep your head during all the chaos that's happening. And it's just something that I would want people to hear. I mean, it'd be like when you walk in and you sit down, it's like you hear all these beautiful harmonies, and you hear this message of, being happy with yourself and, finding your peace.
Yeah.
And, even though all this stuff is going on the outside.
So, I mean, is the goal for your audience, at a funeral, is it to uplift them, or just give them a reminder of you, or to just engage them in something?
All those things. I think
all of those things. I think a lot of my picks were songs that I just like a lot, and I think most of the people that I communicate with about music would know, oh yeah, John loves that band. That I picked The Cars, It's All I Can Do, from Candio. It's not, I mean, they're kind of emotionless as a band, but Candio is just like, it's probably my top 5 albums ever. I learned how to play guitar to that album, and that song in particular has got a nice round chorus that just keeps going around about it's all I can do, and there's layers of little melody that answer back and forth in it.
I love that.
I just love the song, and I felt like I needed to pick something by XTC because they're one of my favorite bands. And the thing about them is that a lot of their songs are like sticking your finger in a light socket, and it's kind of hard to find something. But from Omnibus, the song "Then She Appeared," which I thought it builds this nice little ringing guitar chorus, and I thought it kind of maybe signifies Leslie coming into my life. And she's been in my life most of my life. But I kind of like the idea of that. I have Transatlanticism by Death Cab for Cutie from their album Transatlanticism. And the whole album's a breakup album. But he goes through a breakup with his beloved, and she moves to England, and so she's across the ocean. And the outro is, "I need you so much closer. I need you so much closer." And it was featured in the TV show 6 Feet Under at a really particularly moving part of it, where I can't remember her name, but she's the daughter. Red-haired daughter.
Claire, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Something.
And I think
it's
she
Claire.
and her friends are doing acid, but she really just has some profound insights to that part about, I need you so much closer. And I don't know, it just means something to me. It's powerful.
Yeah.
It repeats over and over and just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I got one more, and it's one song, but it's actually the last 3 songs on Drive By Truckers' Southern Rock Opera, which was a concept record. It's partly about their band, but it's also about Leonard Skinner.
Right.
And the last 3 songs are Shut Up and Get on the Plane, Greenville to Baton Rouge, which was the leg they were on when their plane crashed. And then the last song is called Angels and Fuselage, and it's set inside the plane. The pilot has dumped all the gas. It's quiet. They all know they're going down. And the chorus is, I'm scared shitless of what's coming next. And it's powerful. That whole sequence of songs is just amazing.
It's a scary song.
It is. That's what I put down. It's frightening.
To a scary song at the funeral?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. That's so. Wow.
But
Your funeral's going to be fun too, John. It's going to be like, oh, shit. Well, I have 3 more. That,
Okay.
and this one is interchangeable, really, with Till the End of the Day, as a song about, kind of grabbing life and, figuring out, what it's like to be happy with it. And that's Can't Hardly Wait by The Replacements.
oh, yeah, it's a good one.
And, that's one of those songs where it's like nobody else could perform it. You just have to play the song because it's just, I'll write you a letter in the morning because tonight I can't hold a pen. I can't remember all the lyrics on it.
It's almost like he's about to jump out of his skin.
Yeah, but it's just like, but the chorus of, I can't hardly wait is like, I can't hardly wait, to be with you, to be, be out there, be alive, be happy. That's the way I get it anyway.
And that's not there's another Can't Hardly Wait. Is it a Motown song or something?
It sounds like a pretty common title.
Yeah, I
though.
can't think of the,
Okay.
I'm sure there is another one out there, but that one is like, and
It's
that's,
their song.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a great song. And then sort of related, Take Care by Big Star, which is just this beautiful little song. It's got a cello as the centerpiece music.
Which album was that from?
That's on Third.
Oh, okay.
Third/Sister Lovers. That was the one that was like,
Yeah, Alex Chilton falling apart.
yeah, Alex Chilton was falling apart. It's got his like most depressing, scary songs on it. And then it's got in the middle of all that, it's got like Thank You Friends, which is this really sweet song. But then it has like Holocaust, which is just a sort of a devastating song. And then you have this Take Care, which is,
Is it kind of a kiss-off?
well, it's the line is, this seems like goodbye in a way, I guess it is. And it's just basically talking about kind of fading away into the distance. And, he wants everybody he leaves to take care.
He had a very tender voice when he wanted to.
Yeah, and it's so sweet and it's so pretty and just the whole idea that you're thinking of everybody else. And you're thinking about their futures and them taking care of themselves because you're not there to do it. And the last one, and this is the one that was the most important to me, is Mike Craver's song "One Day When Now Is Gone," which is, it is about death.
Red Clay Ramblers?
He was with the Red Clay Ramblers, and this is from his second solo album, Wagner's Lad, and it's the last song. But it's like, it's one day this will all pass, and I'm going to kick myself because I didn't spend more time with Mom on the porch, watching the crabgrass bloom and the roses scorch. And one day this will all pass, and I'm going to kick myself because I didn't stay at home and watch TV. But how many Andy reruns can you see? And it's just, about all these things that, maybe regrets. But then it ends with one day this will all pass, and things will change. It'll happen fast, and I'll be all alone. without you. You know, underneath a strange sky of blue, and then he starts listing off the people who've died, you know, and the people he thinks he's going to see again. So it's really sweet, and to me, it's the best song about death that I know of.
Right.
And it's like, it's not unhappy. It's really, you know, it's very
Sounds
positive.
matter of fact.
Yeah, it's very matter of fact, but it's very positive. And it's, you know, it's a real appreciation of being alive, but also about, you know, what happens next.
I saw there's a music festival here in town where we live there's a festival called Big Ears, and it was last weekend, and it's a very adventurous music festival. But I saw an artist, jazz guitarist, a guy named Joel Harrison, and he had an African-American woman on stage with him, and she sang the Ralph Stanley song, "Oh, Death,"
Right.
with her full,
Yeah.
just the way she sang it, and man, it just tore me down.
Yeah.
She just left it on the stage,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. But won't you spare me over for another year?
Yeah. But I mean, part of what you need at a funeral is you need people to be able to get those emotions out.
Yeah.
You know, you need to give something that gives people some closure,
Yeah.
and, you know,
That's a
something
good point.
that lets people feel like they did something for you. You know, kind of a final gift. And I think, to me, that's the way it is. It's like a final gift from you to them and them to you. You know, I mean, I know, you know, my planning of funerals, it's like, well, this is the last thing I can really do for this person. And, you know, the music is a big part of it. You know, when my father died, his favorite religious song, and we actually had that one as kind of a religious thing, but Peace in the Valley is something his mother always sang. And he liked that song. So, you know, I got a bluegrass band to play it. But yeah.
These are emotional songs.
Well, it's, you know, but that's, I mean, I think it's, you know, I mean, it's morbid maybe to think about it, but by the same token, maybe it's not, because it's, you know, it's how you want to be remembered and how you want, you know, the last thing you want to say to people.
And it's part of life.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but, you know, but that's the thing, is music is generally a part of every big event we have, and funerals are a big one. I mean, you know, you got music at your weddings, you got, you know.
Music is powerful.
You learn the alphabet by music.
It just goes straight into your emotions. You don't even really have to,
Yeah.
whether it has words or not. It's not a cognitive thing. It goes straight into your feeling centers.
Yeah, I just read a thing today about, you know, the dire wolves. You know about they're bringing back the dire wolf.
I just saw that today,
Yeah.
on the socials, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
They've been extinct for 10,000 years, and through this, you know, genetic sequencing thing that they can do now, they took like a regular wolf, whatever, I mean, cell, and figured out how to clone with using modern wolf stuff. I don't remember exactly how it works, but anyway, they have like 3 baby dire wolves now.
Oh, wow.
And the person who was one of the people who was one of the researchers, like, started singing a song, and the wolf started howling once she hit a certain note.
Cool.
And it was like, and I think she was completely taken aback, because it's like, here is like a sound that's not been heard in 10,000 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's these little wolves learned how to howl.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's powerful for all of us.
I've had a few huskies in my time.
Uh-huh.
They are the talkiest dogs.
Yeah.
They talk, and they try to form human words, it seems
Uh-huh.
like. And they howl at anything. They're very unique. But I also saw something about the woolly mammoth, that they're trying to bring woolly mammoth genes back, and they injected them in mice.
Yeah, they did a thing where
You
they
saw the little woolly mice.
Yeah.
It's like we're a long way from a mammoth, but they're cute, I guess. They're
Yeah.
kind of weird looking.
Well,
Big old bushy mice.
Yeah, I don't know how exactly I feel about it, because it's not like an exact replica.
No.
We're creating all new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've killed
Mutants.
enough. We've killed enough species that who knows?
Well, I wouldn't worry about like the dodo and things like that, because they've
Right.
not been gone that long. But something that's been gone 10,000 years,
Yeah.
or, you know,
What are you getting into there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Boy.
you never know.
Food for thought.
Anyway, we got any recommendations? You ready?
I have
You
a
done?
recommendation that actually does tie into funeral songs
Okay.
in a way. There is one more funeral song that I have.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
No, and I can lead it off with the recommendation.
Okay.
Because and you like her too. It's Madeleine or Madeline Peru.
Yeah.
Or Perot. I think it's Peru.
I think it's Peru.
She is a jazz singer, and she cut her teeth in Paris when she was a teenager and young, performing on the streets there. But she is an American, and she has a song that she actually co-wrote. So she had a lot of cover songs. I'm talking about her album "Careless Love."
Yeah, it's great.
2004. Yeah, I know you liked it too, and we both really loved that. It's a great jazz album, but. She has a fantastic voice and great control on her voice and does many things with it. But there is a song that she wrote called "Don't Wait Too Long." And I don't know if you remember it, but she says, if you think that time will change your ways, don't wait too long.
Yeah.
So she's talking about, and it's an upbeat song, and it's got that kind of plucky, and she's kind of singing with a wink, but it's pointed. It's like. Everybody is sitting back thinking they're going to do this and they're going to do that with their life, and if you're gone, then you can't do that anymore. That'd be kind of a positive, message to people who might be sitting on their butts with their life going by if they come to your funeral, and you get this little friendly reminder: hey, don't just wait for things.
Time's limited.
Yeah. But the album itself is fantastic. Again, the name of the album is "Careless Love," 2004. She does Leonard Cohen's "Dance Me to the End of Love."
Yep.
It's a very classy version. She does Bob Dylan's "What You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go."
Good version.
And the best song. And she does "No More," which is a cool, kind of elegant and melancholy song. Salvador, I can't get this name right. Salvador Camerata. Salvador Camerata and Bob Russell, but they did No More, and she does an elegant and melancholy version of that. And I think maybe the best song of the album to me, and I don't know how you felt about it, was Elliott Smith's "Between the Bars."
That I used to play that on the radio all the time.
It's like chilling.
It is
chilling, dark, and about. I don't know if it's an addict's tale or exactly what's behind.
Sounds like an alcoholic.
Yeah, but it's just someone who's just kind of surviving, and she's talking about kiss me between the bars, and just like someone who seems kind of doomed, but it's beautiful. It's like really, really chilling.
His music was just gorgeous.
Well,
and she does him justice.
Oh, she more than does him justice. I mean, I like Elliott Smith, but I think that her version of that is better than his version.
So if you've not heard her, John, give her a
I wrote it down.
All right.
And also on that album, she does Stuart Hamlin's "Lonesome Road," which is a really good version of that.
It's like 13 songs and 11 of them are great.
Yeah, and Tom Waits' "Heart of a Saturday Night's" on that too.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And she does a killer version of that. Yeah. This funny thing about her is, like, her first album, I was like kind of lukewarm on it because it sounded like she was imitating Billie Holiday. And then on subsequent albums, she really found her own voice.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like Billie Holiday.
No.
She sounds like her.
Yes, she has a very distinct voice, and you can see traces of other singers in it, but she's not trying to imitate anybody. It's just her own persona.
Yeah.
So that's my music recommendation.
That's a great one.
Y'all got one?
Oh, well, because we just talked about them, talked about the replacements, I want to recommend "Pleased to Meet Me," which is... We could get all replacement fans get into big debates over what is their best album. I stand by that one as being their best album, with "Let It Be" being just underneath it. But produced by Jim Dickinson in Memphis, and
I lived in Memphis when they were there recording it.
well, it was the first album they did without Bob Stinson, their guitar player, brother of Tommy Stinson, the bass player. And Bob actually started the band, but he became such a bad alcoholic and not showing up that they had to throw him out of the band. And Westerberg wound up playing leads, but Jim Dickinson, the producer, told me he had to basically piece together the guitars because he was just taking pieces of what Westerberg would do and making those the lead.
Comping together.
Yeah, and it was like... And he said that Westerberg would not talk to him after he heard the strings on the song I mentioned, "Can't Hardly Wait," even though he had said, "Please make it sound like Alex Chilton," and Jim said, I went all the way back to the Box Tops. And if you listen to that song, it sounds like the music from the Box Tops, The Letter. You listen to the strings. But the whole album is just great. They were one of the greatest rock bands to never make it. And if you read Bob Mayer's album about the band Trouble Boys, you will understand exactly why they didn't make it.
Why didn't they make it? I remember reading so much about them all the time.
Shambolic. They would be fantastic one night, and then they'd be drunk off their ass, falling down.
They shot themselves in the foot on
over
purpose
and over.
Every time. And like DJs that would champion them, they would go on and say the F word on a live broadcast.
Their inner saboteur got
they
to them.
Absolutely sabotaged themselves. Every chance they got, they screwed it up, seemingly on purpose.
I just hate people like that.
Well,
It made me crazy.
Well, Bob Mayer's book is great. It's one of the best rock bios I've ever read because it is so honest, and through the whole book, you're just wanting to slap the crap out of them every turn because it's like you're one of the best rock bands to ever come out of the 80s, and this is what you did, and we all loved you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a mess, but it's a great album, and they save that song I mentioned. It's the last song. They put it as the very last song on the album. Nuts.
Oh, that is smart.
Well, my music recommendation this week is an artist that I've known for a long time. I got his first record, well, maybe not his first, but he started doing, he's like a one-man band kind of guy. His name is Kelly Stoltz, Stoltz, Kelly Stoltz. His first album came out in 2003. He puts out a new album about every 2 to 3 years. Like I say, he's a one-man band. He's also a producer, and he's produced other people too. So he's adept at all kinds of instruments. But the one that I just have been really binging on is from 2024, and it's called Le Fleur, F-L-E-U-R, Kelly Stoltz. He just writes these really catchy. They're easy to understand, but they're chock full of melodies, and you just tap. I don't know. I really like it. Got it.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
And I listened to that one, and then I went back and listened to The Stylist from 2022, and then in parentheses, etc. from 2020. They're all just very consistent, just really good, well-produced pop songs.
How do you spell his last name?
Stoltz. Stoltz.
Oh, Stoltz. Okay, I read something down the wrong.
Since you spelt Le Fleur, that made me think I probably should spell Peru.
Yeah,
for
probably.
Madeline Peru, it's Peyraux.
Yeah.
Why? I've seen her name before.
She's great.
All right, movie recommendation. I'm going to give a soft recommendation to the movie Y2K.
Okay.
It got mixed reviews. It's from 2024. It was directed by Kyle Mooney, who was an alumnus on the Saturday Night Live for a long time, from 2013 to 2022. Huh. And it's a story. It's kind of like a comedy, sci-fi sort of love story thing. And it's about these teenagers who are juniors in high school, and they crash this party on December 31st, 1999. And people who lived through that era, that was going to be, Y2K. Everything was going to melt down. Planes were going to fall out of the sky.
Computers
would stop, and phones would stop, and the whole world would come to a screeching halt. And then 9/11 happened, like a year or so later, and everything. We've had other big disasters from, all the way up to COVID and you name it. But at that time, that was the apocalypse du jour. And it didn't happen, but this movie reimagines it as something that actually happens. And so these kids, it's a bunch of people at this party, and midnight hits, and there's kissing and everything going around. The power goes out, and then every electronic device and computer and dishwashers, you name it, they're all talking to each other. And you don't hear them talking to each other, but they're all communicating each other to kill humans. So people start dropping like flies.
I like the idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and they capture the music of the time, the clothing of the time. They do a lot of high school tropes with, there's a nerdy guy who's the main guy. It's Jaden Martell. He plays Eli. And then there's a girl, it's Rachel Zegler, plays Laura. and she's like a pretty popular girl who's also smarter than people realize. And then they had just different ragtag friends, and there's a jock, and there's another bigger nerd, and there's a stoner girl, and there's this crazy guy. It kind of has a little bit of Clerks to it, because there's a crazy guy who runs like a video shop, and he kind of is a survivalist, so he creates this world in a cave, but I mean, their friends are just getting knocked out left and right. It's just everything from little robotic cars to a blender jumps in this guy's crotch, and so it's funny. The violence is funny.
Yeah.
The downfall, it's kind of uneven because he tries to build too much emotional drama into what are pretty flat characters.
Right.
But it's a cool flashback, and like, what would have happened if everything people were worried about did happen. And Fred Durst, of all people, ends up popping up, toward the end, and he's kind of a key character. And there's everything from like sing-alongs to Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba to Faith by George Michael, just like group things. It's fun. It's it's uneven, but if you're not, if it's just on streaming, it's on HBO right now. If it just happens to come up and you got some time, watch it. You don't have to watch it heavily or anything like that. But there's several well-placed chaotic scenes, so it's not like one big chaos and then a lot of sappy talk, So and when friends get wiped out, they meet new people, so there are more people to be wiped out, So, but it's fun. Y2K.
Sounds great.
Oh, and I think that people, Kevin Mooney, I looked up, he's like 40-ish, and people who were teenagers during this time especially, so people who are like, from 38 to 45 now or whatever, it probably might resonate with them even more because they were teenagers at the time that this movie's capturing teenagers. And they may remember where they were as teens, worrying about their laptops. It starts with a scene of them doing dial-up to get their instant messages, and the main guy has a mixed CD, old-fashioned mixtape, but a mixed CD that he carries around with a little portable boom box, and just like a lot of throwback stuff that's kind of fun to see in a movie like this.
Cool. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
John?
I didn't really have one, and so I just kind of searched around, and I've been watching Yellowstone on whatever service it's on. I think it's Paramount.
Hulu or Paramount, yeah.
And Kevin Costner's in there, and I like Kevin Costner. I think generally speaking, a lot of movies he's made I like, and it made me think of this one from 1993 called A Perfect World, where he's escaped from jail, and he somehow ends up with this boy, and he's not a good guy, but he's not so bad either.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make their way across the country, and Clint Eastwood's the cop, and he's trying to catch him. And it's just it's an interesting relationship between Kevin Costner's character and the boy's character. And ultimately, Kevin Costner's character redeems himself and is a good guy. But he's still a thief.
Clint Eastwood directed it, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. It's got a great soundtrack, too. It's got, early 60s country stuff. I think it's got Don Gibson and people like that.
Okay. I just like the movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Well, I want to recommend from 1940.
Oh, my God. I've got to go.
No, you don't. The Great Dictator. Charlie Chaplin in 1940, so before we entered World War II, making fun of Hitler and Mussolini. And Charlie Chaplin is, of course, a Jewish barber who gets mistaken for the Great Dictator, who is very much like Adolf Hitler. And it's fun. It's a comedy. Has a lot to say. It's got this incredible scene in it where Chaplin, as the actual Great Dictator, not as the little barber, is like doing a dance with the globe, which is like a big balloon. And you're seeing how he wants to possess the whole world.
Wow.
And then Charlie Chaplin gives a speech. I mean, the little barber who is seen as the Great Dictator gives a speech at the end of it that I've seen.
Charlie Chaplin does?
Charlie Chaplin. So, I mean,
I don't even know if I know what his voice sounds like.
well, that's the thing is, I mean, this is the first one where he actually spoke.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in silent movies.
Well, his silent movies, I mean, he made silent movies. The one before this, City Lights, is silent well into the sound era.
Because he just did such physical
Yeah.
comedy that
But this one is actually, I mean, this is his first sound one, and it's great. And that speech, and I've seen it isolated and put up on YouTube, is really powerful and important. And it's a good time to watch it.
All right.
Okay.
Somebody's got a movie date ahead, so
I do.
we need to get out of here so Wayne doesn't miss the opening scenes because he hates that. And
Yes.
It's time to buy popcorn.
Woman in the Yard. I don't buy popcorn there.
Woman in the Yard. Okay.
Yes, it looks. Have you seen the trailers?
Yeah.
It looks terrifying. I love
Do
it.
you think? Okay.
Yeah, it looks really scary to me.
Okay. I want to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, me and my daughter and my son-in-law are all going to go to it. Can't convince Sarah to go because she's too scared of scary movies.
Okay.
I'm with Sarah.
Oh yeah,
I'm terrified enough. I don't need to be more scared.
Well, you ought to watch the trailer. Just the trailer is scary.
Again, I don't need to be more scared than I already am.
Well, there you go.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will swing back around and talk at you again. Goodbye.
You've been listening to How We Heard It with Chuck Campbell and Wayne Bledsoe, a podcast about music, movies, art, culture, whatever it is that's on their mind. How We Heard It was recorded at the Arbor Studio in Knoxville, Tennessee by me, John Baker. How We Heard It is a Cozy Planet production. If listening to this podcast has given you a burning sensation, then we recommend you sit in a hot tub until your symptoms fade away. If you'd like to reach out to Chuck or Wayne or even me, you can send an email to howweheardit@gmail.com. So thank you for listening, and come on back and we'll have another episode for you next week.